Okay, good morning. I sent you an email about homework 3. I will try to do parts of it, as much of it as possible. This is good stuff. And I am myself slightly behind, but that's fine because I changed the software for the course, and that means that I myself have to do, the homeworks, but I'm doing catch up. But we're in good shape, and oops, oh, this thing right here.
Welcome to
But this is what we are doing is very good stuff. I sent you in the email. I also mentioned that the hardware company Cisco is right outside of the bookstore. They're looking for pre-sale, post-sale. I asked them people, and I asked the guy who is there. There's free coffee. That's where this coffee is from. If they have positions in analytics, all companies do. They're not advertising those there, but go and talk to them, get an email of somebody to contact, and Cisco is a big company with networking and routers and stuff like that. Go and talk, even if you're not interested to join Cisco or anything. I'm not asking you to go and work for Cisco, but I'm asking you to start networking, because that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made. Okay, I was very bad in terms of networking. So,
Professor?
yeah.
Can we, I'm a little confused about the syllabus. Can we, go over the homework assignments of the syllabus really quickly? Because I think I'm not clear on what the due dates are for 3 and 4. Because I think I'm, maybe misreading it.
Okay.
It says there's no quiz this week, is that true?
Did I say that?
The syllabus says that.
The syllabus is no quiz this week?
It says the next quiz is after the midterm in week 8.
No, it's so that was that's my fault in the syllabus, because when I go from semester to semester, sometimes I copy the syllabus from the spring to the fall, and in the spring we have the spring break, and so when I put some comments there, and when I go from semester to semester, some things go out of whack.
So there is a quiz this Thursday?
Unless I say, so there will be a quiz, yes.
Oh, okay.
But what that was referring to is we will not have a quiz the week before the midterm. That's what I meant to do there. And when I copied the syllabus from one semester to another, some things go a little bit out
Okay,
of.
in your email you said homework 3 wasn't due yet, but you gave us the answers, but wasn't that due last Thursday?
We submitted that.
Oh, you submitted that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Every Thursday.
Yeah.
Do not grow old. But I still want to do, was that homework 3 or, okay. So okay. So, I'm putting up the answers over here. So assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3 key. Maybe I meant, it's confusing because assignment 3 was in chapter 4 and assignment 4 is from chapter 3. I didn't do that on purpose. So let's see. That's why I meant this one. All right. So, okay. So that's what I meant. I meant instead of, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So you have that. And when is assignment 4 due?
This
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay, that's the one I meant to do. And that's the one of the handouts, in fact, because Matthew came to me yesterday, and I had not myself gone over it, and I did that. So you have, I was confused between chapter 3 and assignment 3. Anyways, so the Business Analytics Club, we have a presentation on October 15th on GIS workshop, and the girl that did the flyer forgot to put the presenter's name. The presenter's name is a very smart lady who is in the library. Her name is Bahare, and she will do a presentation on GIS, Geographic Information System. I think it will be a workshop, and she's preparing something. So that's a combination of analytics, data mining, and GIS, and she will do something using a map, so you can have data. So let's say you have a multinational company, you can have subsidiary offices all around the world, and you can pull the data from all different places, and so it's a very nice to move this around so that it will be a very nice presentation. She did presentations for the Business Analytics Club before. She's very, very good. And so this is week 4, meeting 2. I'm working with Anthony. I will upload, in fact, I uploaded to YouTube the last 2 lectures. I need to put the links onto this today, because it takes time for him to save the .mp4 file of the lecture. Then I take that, I move it to YouTube, and then I need to do something in Blackboard so you can have access to those. So let's hope that I will not have issues today with this computer. But we are in what I call week 4. We are doing this work here. The midterm will be on, I think, October 17th, which is a Tuesday. I forget, it's a Thursday. October 17th is a Thursday. And we will have the midterm right after we finish. This is week 5 and week 6. And there will be no quiz the week before the midterm, okay? Regardless of what the syllabus says. And I apologize for any confusion, but this is where we are right now. So 5 lectures from now, we'll have the midterm. So this is where we are. And I have lots of material here. But what I want to do, I want to go to the assignment 4, which I just enabled. So in my email, when I said assignment 3, I meant assignment 4, which is based on chapter 3. So here you have the answers. Okay. And so the all right. So here you have the question and the answer, but I want to last time I showed you how we do zooming in Spotfire, and how that is superior to zooming in Jump. And to do this homework, you can do it if you want to in Spotfire, or you can do it in Jump. So let me show that to you in Jump, and you will see why I said what I said. One of the handouts is the beginning of this exercise, but what I want to do is I want to show you Jump is a fantastic product. Is one of many fantastic products. Okay, the data file is called applianceshipment.jump. Okay, so I went here because I have these files here. So you have appliance shipments.jump, and here's appliance shipments solutions. Okay, so because I want to show you how you can do how you can take care of time series. Last time I showed that to you with Spotfire, and I want to make sure that you know this stuff. That's why I'm going over that. So there's no need. I still want you to turn in assignment 4. Okay. So this is a jump file. The data, I'm gonna show you how we can create this. Okay. The data there's 2 columns, quarter and shipments in millions. So I want this data to be recognized as year, Y, and Q quarter 1, quarter 2. But I want Jump to recognize this as a date. Okay, so so this is what I want to show you how I'm going to create it. So you can say right here, new table. So you can create the columns in many different ways. I can double click there, and I'm going to call this quarter. Right? In fact, that is not a good name for a column. Okay? And you'll see why. Because there is a function called quarter as well. So you don't want to use, for column names, you don't want to use a word that can mislead people. That is what we call noise. Noise is anything that stops you from doing something without any confusion. Missing data is noise. Bad data is noise. The same way on the telephone, when there is that noise, it makes it difficult to understand what the person is saying. So it makes it difficult to do that communication. To have the letter Q in the data, and then that little q is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, the quarters. When you enter data, it has to be entered in this format. So here, I can put 1985 quarter 1. Right? Let's try to do something invalid. 1985, and I will put QQ, for example. String does not match the find date format. Okay? And I'm doing this, so let's put a negative number, negative 1985 Q1. So I built many systems where I had to do this. So when you put in a format, the format forces you to put the data in the right format. You see that? All right? So that's creating this column. The other column right here is very easy. So it's numeric continuous. You leave it for the format as best. You can specify the comma as 1,000 separator. So I will double click here, and then call that shipments, and numeric continue best. Okay, leave it like that. And under column properties, there's a lot of other things that you can specify that I want to skip right now. Oops. I thought for a moment it kicked me out. So here is the data. Also, this data could have been in Excel, and you could have moved it into Jump, and then yes.
Can you jump this left?
Oh, I thought I did that. There you go. Okay, thank you. And there's a way, can you guys see this size? So, it's very easy to create a table, and the best, even if you understand what I'm saying fully, to truly understand it and know it, you have to go and do it yourself. So that's this data. Okay. Now, this is appliance shipping, and I am working on
Wait, Professor,
yes.
why did you make a new data table?
I did not. I want to show you how you create a new table.
Oh.
That's all. I mean, here's the table, but I want to show you how you create this, and then you can populate it with data. That's all. So, I was going to call this appliance shipment, right? Okay. Now, so in problem 3.1, which is, I should have a Word file. There you are. Okay. So I have this table, and I want to create this time series plot. This is done by using the line plot. So let's go to jump right here. Now, there are different things that you can do. One of them is I can use this too, but let me click this column. What I can do, see now that this is defined as being of a data type under format, and you can see all the other different formats that the data can look like, right? So you can have the data look like this. So for example, this could be 01-20- the year, okay? So these are different date formats. So if I click here, sorry, and then I do I can click here, right click, and say new formula column, date time. I have this, I think. Okay. Is it a good show?
Sorry.
That's okay. There's, by the way, many different ways to do this, but I go to see where it says the word quarter somewhere. There you go. You see, this is a reserved word quarter, right? That's why I did not want to have a column called quarter. So you click quarter, and you see how it created a new column that has this part of the date, the quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I can also right-click, and again go to new formula column, date time, and I want to extract the year. Somewhere it says year here. Year. You see this? So if I click that created a column called year. So the way this is read, this is the year part of a column called quarter. Do you see why it's not a good idea to have a column called quarter? Because when you see that word quarter, you will get confused. Does this mean this is referring to the quarter built-in function, or does it refer to a column? You understand? Okay, so I have these two, and now if I double-click here, do you see here how it has a formula that it created, year and quarter? If I double-click here, it has, this is the quarter part of a column called quarter. Okay. Now I can recreate these columns. Let me remove them by using so double click here, double click again, so I wanted this to be called again the quarter. This is the quarter part of the quarter column, this is numeric continuous, and I click where it says column properties, and there's a formula at the top, and then I click edit formula, and look, here are the column names, here are all the functions available in JUMP. So this is column 3. I'm going to change the name. If I go to where it says date time and I click quarter, look, it goes over here, and then I want something to go inside here. This is the date column, which is quarter. So this is also a very nice visual way to do it. You can click apply or click column, OK, and here's again column 3. Of course, you can double click there, and I thought I put in the name quarter 3, quarter for the column name. This is, let's call it quarter Dimitrios. There you go. So you know I created that. And then again, double click here to create a new column, double click again, and this is a year, Dimitrios, right? I will go to column properties, pick formula, and say edit formula, and this is column 4. Here's again, I go to date time, and I want to go to year. See how it put the year function? And then I want the column from which I want to extract the year component, the year part, right? And I click quarter again. Oops, quarter. Okay, and okay. Oops, there you go. So I showed you 2 different ways to create these columns. This is transformation. You're taking one column and you break it apart, right? So this column here is the quarter number. This is the year. Okay. And the reason I did this is to make it easier to do this graph, right? So you can have this open as well. So I go here and I go to graph builder. You can either say graph builder or click graph builder. And well the ideal job for me, this is something I love doing, is to be when we are told to do something that we know nothing about, we say, I don't want to do it or I don't like it. When I worked in the private sector, my philosophy aggravated a lot of people because my philosophy was 99% of what you are told, people are told that cannot be done, they can. So I asked my clients, my customers within the company, if they were told that something cannot be done, to ask me to do it. And I proved it to them, okay, that things can be done. So right now there is an available about 40 gigabytes on the hard drive. And the people think that that is enough space. It's actually not enough to do what I'm doing. But there are other issues as well that are lurking. Noise that doesn't allow you to do what you're trying to do. And this is what I told them. Anyways, let's go to the solutions, which has the columns that. So I created this jump table right here. And then I go to a graph builder, okay? We have 47.6 gigabyte on the hard drive. And that's a proof that that is not the problem. It's something else, right? But you guys can go to Open Jump, okay? Open Jump. You should be looking at the appliance shipment solution. And actually for this, we don't need to have the two additional columns that I've added. And go to Graph Builder, click and drag quarter on the x-axis and shipment on the y-axis. And then click at the line graph at the top. Okay, so. Okay, let's see how far it will allow me to go. This is what I had. So I want to click Graph Builder, quarter on the x-axis, shipments in millions here, and I click the line right here. Okay. Now, here is in the document, the 4-page document that I showed you. If you go to the third page, okay, I'm going to do zooming, but this will not be the zooming that we did with Spotfire. So what you can do is you can. This is the x-axis, right? The quarter. One way to do zooming, you see, you can move. This is the hand, right? You can click and move it like this, all right? So you can squeeze. But let's say I wanted to look only between, only 1 year. Let's say 96 to 1986 quarter 1 to 1987 quarter 1. So I can double click here on the x-axis, double click, and the x-axis settings comes up. So when I go there, See, this is the format of the x-axis. This is linear scale. Then 6 spaces. 1985 Q1 takes 6 spaces. You see the minimum and the maximum. I will put 1986 Q1, and this is 1987 Q1. In Spotfire, I was doing it by dragging, moving the toolbar. Do you see why I said what I said? So if I then here, I want the increment to be by a quarter. And if I click OK, this is 1986 to 19, so this has 1987, okay? So you zoom in. That is not the most dynamic zoom in. Also, on the y-axis, you can do the same thing. So this was zooming in on the x-axis, right? So on the y-axis, I can double click, and again, I can change these numbers. If I wanted to have between 4,000 and 4,600, so I can put for the shipments 4,000 to 4,600, and you can have the increments by 200 or by 50, right? You click OK, and you see 4,000, right? So you can zoom in. But you see the advantage that Spotfire has, right? I would click the ends. But anyways, this is still pretty good, all right? But it's not as dynamic as Spotfire. Now, if I wanted to have here the I can double click here, right? And if I wanted to have the whole data, so I can have 1984 Q1 to 1990 Q4, all right? And I want the ticks on the x-axis to be by a quarter. Look, this is the picture that they wanted, and of course you got to change the scale there. So you put the minimum number. I forget what the minimum shipment is. 3,000 to, I forget now. So let's make it 6,000. So you see that how you can zoom in, right? Yeah.
Professor, could you explain histogram rebinning?
Huh?
Histogram rebinning?
Histogram embedding.
Rebinning?
Rebinning.
Or rebinding?
Rebinning. The jump does it statically. I will. Which question is that?
No, it's just, I was just reading over.
I will talk about it. Keep that question. There is a dynamic way to change the number of intervals. I don't think Jump does it in the most dynamic way. The Excel Miner, again, the idea is this. There's no software that is best in everything. Okay? As long as the software does a very good job with the key things that you're interested, then it's fine. In real life, people many times have a number of software, so they do the big things in one, they move it into and then many times they move it into Excel to do some little thing that Excel is very good at. Okay, so that is, you have this, and question B says, does there appear to be a quarterly pattern? When you want to see a pattern, you want to zoom in more into that. So 3,800 and 5,000. And of course, you can change many other things here. Now, to see a pattern, so if I take this and put it into, this is probably going to kick me out. I want to do things to this. let's see, paint. Paint it as well. Here. See, I go into paint because what I want to do, I want to draw these vertical lines. Okay. Somebody has a question? So let's say this is up there. Oop. So I'm doing these lines for each quarter, all right? But we're doing analytics. So this is 3, and this is 4, all right? And I should have moved this picture down. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay. Now, you see, this is right here. This is quarter 1, actually. This is, when you go from quarter 1 to the next one, that's quarter 2. This is quarter 3 of 1985. This is quarter 4. This is quarter 1 of 1986. You see what I'm doing, right? This is quarter 2. This is quarter 3. This is quarter 4. And then I think these are the answers from the book, but I always check them. That's why I want to go over them. And I find that many times, because what they do is the author of the book gives this to a graduate student, they tell them go and do these exercises. And I find mistakes. Now, if you look at quarter 2 only, okay? If you look at quarter 2, which is this part, this line right here, which is this line right here. Whoops. Quarter 2, this is the next quarter 2, okay? Quarter 2, 1, 2, this is the next one, okay? You see that quarter 2, from year to year, it's always increasing. If you look at quarter 1, see, for the first one, we don't have quarter 1, but if you look at quarter 1, this part right here, this is 1, again, 2, 3, 4. If you look at quarter 1, right, it is also always increasing. If you look at quarter 3, right, this is quarter 3 here, it goes down. Quarter 3 goes down. Quarter 3 goes down, all right? You see, so you see a certain pattern that they always go down. How can I use that information? If quarter 3 always behaves the same way for each year, what does this allow me to do? Yes?
Future outcomes?
I'm sorry?
To predict future outcomes?
You can predict that, try to predict that quarter 3 in the future will go down, but you can also take all quarter 3 data and put them under one column called quarter 3, dimension reduction. Okay, so that was B. C says on 3.1c, this is homework for chapter 3. It says create one chart. So I think the answer here is not that correct. The next question is create one chart with 4 lines, one for each quarter. And it tells you this can be achieved by creating a transformed variable. So right-click on quarter in the graph builder. This is part of the equation, right? On the graph builder and select date time and then drag the new column to overlay. So here, right here. let me close this. Ah. These very nice manipulations with graphs are not easy with, are not this easy with Tableau. Tableau is a lot more complicated to do these simple things that I'm doing with Jump. Okay? So I click Graph Builder, and you see, I move here. I created this column, you see, down here, all right? Then I click Shipments here, and then, by the way, I can avoid having this line by doing, there's something else I can do, but let's not worry. Then I take, this was in the instructions, I take, which column? Right click on the quarter, okay? Select Daytime, okay? Quarter, and I move this, oops, hold on a second. Is it this one? So I can move this in overlay and then click the line. Oh, no. No. It meant this one. So let's start over again. So I move year over here. I move shipments over here. I take this and I move it over here. There you go. That's the quarter. See, this is why I don't want to have a column called quarter when there's a reserved word called quarter. All right? You move it over here, and then you click this. And these are the 4 different quarters. Okay, it says create one chart. Create one chart with 4 different lines, one per each quarter. This can be achieved by creating a transform variable. So we created the new column called quarter based on the column called quarter in the graph builder, and you drag it over in overlay. Overlay allows you to do many different graphs at the same time. These are 4 different graphs. And you can see this is, the red is quarter 2, the green is quarter 3. So quarters, the data, the shipments in quarters 1 and 2 are the sales from shipments for quarters 2 and 3 are higher than the shipments in quarters 1 and 4. Right? So, that is that. I have not forgotten about your beginning question, because I will, I'll do that. Oops. So the next problem is very simple. You have the riding mowers and you're working with a scatter plot. Well, we've done a good amount of work with the scatter plot, but let's go into a little bit more depth. This is very easy to create. The table is riding mowers. Right here. And this is a famous example. So you have, you see, you have income, lot size, and ownership. This means that always it's important to understand the data. So this says that you have a person or family with income $60,000, and the lot in front or around the house is 18.4 something. I don't know if it's acres or whatever. And this says that the person owns something. It's either own a house or own a lawnmower. So I want to do a scatter plot between these two. So 3, 2, you have it right here. A company that manufactures riding mowers wants to identify the best sales prospects for an intensive sales campaign. In particular, the manufacturer is interested in classifying households as, prospective owners or non-owners of, let's see, on the basis of income and lot size. So you look at 24 households given in this file. Create a scatter plot of lot size versus income, lot size versus income. Usually when they say do a plot of A versus B, the first one is the y-axis, but a lot of people violate that. So in other words, they say of lot size versus income, and they put lot size down here. Okay, color coded by the outcome variable ownership. Make sure to obtain a nice plot, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Describe the potential relationship of ownership to lot size and income. So this is a three-dimensional scatter plot. Dimension 1 is income, dimension 2 is lot size, dimension 3 is ownership. You have all of that here. So it's a two-dimensional surface representing three-dimensional. So you go here and you go to a graph builder. So you say income, move that here. Lot size goes here. Lot size. All right, so you can take it out. Right. You can undo the last thing, the last job, and move lot size over here. Click scatter plot. Okay, well, I had the dots. Now, this line here is, this tries to approximate the data, but to get rid of it, I don't want this. To get rid of it, there are many ways to get rid of it. One of them is right-click here, and where it says points, change points to smoother, change to points. So you click smoother, change to points, and that line goes away, that annoying thing. Okay. Now, I want to color code this because some of these are owners and some of these dots are non-owners. So I click ownership and I put it on here where it says color. So now you have the two different colors, right? But because they look alike, what I can do, you see, I shouldn't have two of these. So let me start over. Lot size here, income here, ownership over here in color. Smoother. You see this? I mean, this actually plays a role. It depends on what kind of line you want to approximate the data. All right. And let me click this. No, click this. There you are. Click this one. All right. It put ownership here. Okay, so I put ownership here, right? Now what you can do is this. You can click on this red dot for ownership. Click, right click. And where it says marker, I will put a plus sign for owners. Okay, so now I put the plus sign here. I will right click on the blue dot And for marker, I can use something else, the triangles, right? I'm sure there's a way to make this bigger. So you're looking at this, right? And you can read. Well, who can tell me? Who can tell me what this says? Let's put this in Paint. Right here. So this is Paint, right, in Painter. So you have income on the horizontal, lot size here, and you have the third dimension ownership. I think it's ownership of a house. So how do you read this? This is one of the most widely used graphs that you will see. You see, you can plot a vertical line somewhere here. You can move it left and right, right? And this tells you that, see the plus signs, right? The markers, by the way, you can make this bigger. But anyways, you see that the people that are owners have a higher income. When you look at the graph this way, you look at the graph this way, right? Owners have higher income than mostly, right, than non-owners, right? And you can, of course, move this left and right. So this is looking at it this way. If you, you can also open up another window. You can also look at the data this way, right? And again, you can move this line above or below. You're looking for a trend, right? If you look at this and you look at the data this way, right? This tells you what? Owners have bigger lots than non-owners, right? Very important stuff. This simple graph says so many things, okay? So, that is what they're after with this. And then, I mean, I truly love jump, but I could have said this if I use RapidMiner, if I used Tableau, if I use many things. We could have used any of these tools, but you see how easily I created the table in Jump? In Tableau, it would be to create a proper table, it would be a major pain. Okay, now, when I'm inside Jump, and I'm here, how can I save? I had this one. How can I save my work? There is like 1,000 different ways to do it. When you are inside, so graph builder, income, lot size, take that away. Ownership is the color. Now, here, when I right-click on owner, you see where it says marker and marker size? I can change the size of the markers. Oh, marker size, I made it large. That should, that changes just this one, okay. I can change the color, so let me just change this to green or something. It changed it to green, not here, not just here, but here as well. Right click, color, and I can make this this color. All right. But I thought you would change it anyways. Market size. So for marker, I can pick a different marker for this, a different marker for that, whatever, makes more sense. There you go. But if I click, if I just hover over, it tells you this is row 13, income, lot size, blah, blah, blah. Let me right click here, points. There's a way to make this bigger. I thought by right clicking here, market size, make it large. Anyways, what did I want? Oh, how do I save this work? Look, I can click on the graph builder and say save script, and I can save this to a table, to a journal, to a script window, to report, to clipboard. Save this to a table right here. And the table is going to be called lot size versus income or whatever I wanted, right? Okay, now if I go here in the main jump window, right, you see this, it saved it under the table. So if I have this closed, you can just double click on it and it will open up the graph builder with the outcome. So I told you not to do 3.4, and the major reason is because we are missing, for some reason, maybe on purpose, they're missing a couple of columns like longitude and latitude, and so anyways, let's go to 3.3. So 3.3 is the data comes from laptop sales January. There's a table, laptop sales, which has 300,000 records. If a data file has 300,000 records, is that a big file? No. It is absolutely tiny. In fact, in today's world, you'll say, if you go to an interview and they say, we work with big files, do you have experience with big files? And you ask them, define big. And if they say 300 million records, you say, that is insignificant. And they say, what do you mean? Well, big files are files measured in exabytes, terabytes, exabytes, like that. All right? This is in today's world. But a big is relative, right? Somebody may say 500 records. It's a huge file because they don't know. You don't want to say, no, you're stupid. That's not. Don't say this, right? In fact, in my first 10 years, I was not calling people stupid, but I would say things like, what? I said, how can you say this thing? I was very blunt. I did not mean to be disrespectful, but I was. Somebody pulled me over, said, Dimitri, you're a nice guy, but you scare people. I said, what do you mean? What was that lady's name? Barbara. And every time you go to talk to Barbara, she's scared to death. I said, what did I do? You kept telling her, no, that's not correct. I went and I apologized. I said, Barbara, is this how you feel? She goes, yes, you keep criticizing. I said, Barbara, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to. It's just that I'm passionate about these things, and I react like that. So I said, thank you. No, you're great. I'm so sorry. So then I had to be very delicate. For me, the passion gets the best of me, and then many people get annoyed of me, and then we ended up becoming very good friends. So the way I make best friends is these are people who hate me in the beginning because they think I'm rude, but when I then explain myself, we end up becoming very good friends. This is how I make good friends. I don't do it on purpose. So what I'm trying to say is that if you know something very well, do not assume that the people at the other end know what you know, right? Back off. It seriously, it took me about 10 years to back off from that. You know, I was going, take the time to listen. I was not doing that. It took me 10 years to kind of, right? So here you have laptop sales. You want to create a bar chart, or a bar chart is not a histogram. So from this data, this is actually very easy. So the table is, what did we say? Laptop sales. All right. So here you have laptop sales. This has 300,000 records. This has few records just for 1 month. So we want to open up this one. So this has the solutions. This is the smaller one, and we want to open the smaller one. Okay. So I want to create a bar chart. You can create a histogram as well. So if you go to distribution, distribution is how you can create histograms. And on the x-axis, you want to have a numeric column. So I can say retail size. See, this is Y column, but let's put that here. Oops, over here. And if I click OK, so you see this is the histogram. And if I click retail price, display options, horizontal layout, then you see it in this format. And you go in there. So you can make this bigger, right? Now, on the x-axis, I can double click, all right? And you see right here, this is how you can change the increment. You can do rebinning in jump. So you can make this, which is not dynamic. Dynamic rebuilding is you have a slider and you slide it underneath. So this is the minimum is 283. Here the maximum is 676. And the tick bin increment, this goes in increments of 20. See 300, this is 300 to 320. So you see this is 340 to 360. So this is maybe 1010. It says 20 increments. I'm sorry, the increment size is 20, minus ticks 1. So if I change this to 40, you see how this goes up by 40. So that is the answer to your question, the rebinning. This is not the most dynamic way, okay? If I was in Spotfire, I would have a slider, okay? So you can change the bins this way. Double click here. Minor ticks, I can make, let's say, 4. Let's see. So you can see that between 400 and 440, you have smaller breakdown. But double click here, and then you can change many of these parameters. And so there's a lot of other things. And as you're changing these parameters, you see how the preview is shown right here. Okay? So 0. So you can see how you can change things, right? Rebinning. So, so I want to do I want to do 3-3, which is a bar chart, and we'll do a combination of things while doing this. And so click Graph Builder. On the x-axis, I have store postcode, so put that here. On the y-axis, I have retail price, like that. Click this. Now you see here how the scale, they shows that these are pretty much very, very close, and they are. But what I can do is I can double click here, okay, and change the scale. So the minimum can be 480 and the maximum can be 500 or 495, and I want the increment to be by 5. And now you are zooming closer and you can compare easier. And you see from this that the highest frequency is by this stored postcode N176QA, and the minimum is W43PH. So what you can do is you can click Graph Builder and you can go to Local Data Finder. This is called filtering, right? And I want to filter by store postcode. Click store postcode, click Add, and I only want this one and this one. Click on that, then press the control button, click on this, and you see I only want, I can zoom in and talk only and talk only about the two that I want, or maybe it could be 3 or 4. Right? Very nice. This is very nice. Okay. I criticize every piece of software that I touch. That does not mean I don't like it. I love Jump. I love Tableau. But I will also criticize it in a constructive manner with the hope that one of you will hear it, go back and identify, tell to your boss, RapidMiner needs to do a better job with this, or Jump needs to do a better job on that, right? And that helps you because you are making a recommendation. And see, this is what I used to do. I used Oracle for over 20 years. I became very good friends with people that work within Oracle, and they would give me documents that were not available to the public. So then I would go to an Oracle conference and I would tell the other Oracle people, I know that the software does this. Why don't you have this feature? And they would tell me, what is your name? Demetrius. How do you know this? I said, you know, please do not discuss this. It's not available. Okay? and so, and they would give me free T-shirts, mugs to keep me quiet. That doesn't work though. Okay, now then we need to do. So you're looking at this, and so this is in this store postcode, the retail price is the maximum, and this postcode the retail price is the minimum. Now you see here it has the mean, right? I can also replace that to have the total. Any other, where's the sum? Right here, all right? So you can change many things. You can go back to the mean, and then where it says label, you can specify labels by value. It has the value up here, labels by % of total values. Oh, it doesn't show it. Maybe it shows it somewhere. Label by row. So these are the rows that contribute in this store postcode. Then you want to do a box plot with only these two postcodes. So the graph builder is the place that you go the vast majority of time to do things. When you want to do a box plot, on the x-axis, you want to have a column that doesn't have a million different distinct values. So if I put store postcode on the x-axis, now this has a lot of, right? I want to do and I want to have retail price on the y-axis. By default, it picked the box plot. If it did not do that, you go and you click the box plot, right? So this allows you to compare many different box plots. But if this is, I want to just zoom in to only the maximum and the minimum, right? N17. So what you can do, right? You click on Graph Builder to do filtering and say local data filter. And then I want to filter based on the store postcode. Click add this to the filter. And here's N17, and here is the other one, W43PH, and you only compare these two. If I wanted to have, you know, a few more, so then I can have, this is one column that has many different values. And when you compare these two, what does this tell you about the retail price in this postcode? This could be Boston, and this could be, let's say, Roxbury, which is where we are, and this could be Dorchester. What does this tell you if you're looking at these two? What does this tell you about Roxbury and Dorchester in terms of retail price? They're very similar. Now, you can go here and you can see the minimum 350, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum, right? And what is the median here? 485. You go here, the median is 490. So you can compare, but you see there's a similarity, but here you have more outliers than you have here. So this may be for, you know, if the retail price is lower, maybe this is a poorer neighborhood than this other one, right? But at the same time, you have higher values here as well. So you can investigate, and you and you can see many different, you can make many different types of observations, and we've discussed this. Okay, so that was basically homework 4, and you have seen in detail how you can use jump. In the course material here, I have lots of other material. What I want you to do, okay, for the rest of the time, I want you to individually go here and try to work on the different things. You can start. You can do them from the top to the bottom, all right, or whatever. And you have a handout. There's 2 handouts I gave you. This is the second one. Actually, this handout, keep this. We're going to use this as we move forward. But you should have the handout that how to do different charts. Okay? Which is also online. So let me. Here is the documentation, by the way, of 14.2. Right? So anytime you have a topic, just go there and look for it. And also, there's a book that I ask you, second book that I ask you to buy, right? Go in the index and find it. Don't wait for me to tell you, go to chapter 8 and, all right? So what I'm talking about is the second book that I ask you to buy, and that is very good in describing everything that I am doing. This is jump specific, and you should be referencing it. But if I go, here's jump documentation, 13 and 14, you can use either one. These are SAS manuals that I uploaded here. They are also available inside Jump. So when you open Jump, anytime you open Jump, so I want you to go and do this, open this up, right? You have a hard copy of this that says how to do something. It identifies the table, gnp.jump, and go and do this, right? So I want you, this is lecture, this is week 4, and the PDF files tell you how to do it, and these are the tables that are needed, right? So you understand what you're supposed to do? Who doesn't understand? For example, go, open this PDF file, and then, so this PDF file tells you how to create, how to do various things, and it identifies the jump table. Companies don't jump, so then go here and open companies don't jump and do what this document tells you to do. That's it. Do one at a time, right? I want you to have hands-on. So that's what you're doing for the next 25 minutes, half an hour. All right? Questions? I'll be moving around, and I want you to stop me and ask.